What's up, everybody? Welcome to JKicksv2 TV. Today we're actually going to do the first that I've seen video-wise of the side-by-side comparisons to the original semi-frozen yellow that I got was a sample. Now, it didn't have gum soles, and this was before the fakes had actually started hitting the market, and the first non-gum soles that were dropping were sample pairs and the pairs that Kanye's kids got. So we do know that they were made without the gum sole, and why they went back to the gum sole, nobody really knows. And then there's another pair that came out afterwards with red stitching around the heel, and then this pair that I got from Goat, which I keep hearing about Goat. Now, there's another one that I'm not going to say the name, but it's not this one, it's the other brand of sneaker online app that actually sent me a fake pair of Space Jams. So we're going to find out today whether or not these are legit semi-frozen yellow. And I actually ordered these. I got them now, but I actually ordered them before the drop. So these were actually be considered pre-release from Goat. So now a lot of people are like, Jerry, where do you get pre-releases from? You can actually get them from Goat now, apparently. So it has a little Goat, little sticker on there, if you guys can see that. It has a little Goat sticker, comes wrapped in paper. Now, the whole deal with Goat is they authenticate their shoes to be 100% authentic. Now, who authenticates them? I don't fucking know, because apparently, from what I'm hearing now, the new knockoffs even have the fucking right heel tab, and they have the chip in them. And the chip is like something that can be tracked. They can track the whether or not the shoe is actually real or not. So once you open it up, it's got the tissue paper. It's got a little card in here from Goat. It's got somebody's signature on it. That's whoever fucking, I don't know, whoever the fuck authenticated it. Which, I mean, it's just possible they may have fucked up too, who knows, but we're going to see in a second. And here we go. So this is, okay, smells like a Yeezy. Yeezys have a very specific smell, and I love the smell of Yeezys. Now, one thing I noticed, doesn't have those double tags, right? It's supposed to have double tags on it with that chip in it. That's kind of interesting right off the bat, right? It doesn't have those double tags. Now, right off the bat, that makes me a little suspicious whether or not these are actually real Yeezys. Now let's see if it's got the ape. It's got a lot of tissue paper in here, which it does not have the ape on the inside of the box, which kind of, again, makes me go, I don't know, but Goat authenticated these. So if they're not real, fuck, that's on Goat. Now the heel tab is different. I'll definitely give you that. So let's start doing some, again, I love that smell of new Yeezys. Let me get the insert out and see what the underneath looks like in the insert. If I can get the thing out. This one seems to be in there pretty tight, which a lot of the unauthorized, it's easy to get them out. Let's see, 10 to 11. Okay, that looks like it checks out. The little R is good. Okay, actually, you know what? I mean, I don't know what about the tag, but on the Adidas thing itself, it's hard to see. That R is usually never right on, and it's not clear enough usually on any of the knockoffs, the reproductions, the whatever the fuck you call them. So let's see. Again, yeah, you know what? The Yeezys have a very specific smell, and the fakes actually smell like plastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare this one to this one, which is the one that came out beforehand, and the only difference in the stitching is that heel tab. But if you look at how the heel tab is actually on, the heel tab sticks way off on this one compared to this one. It's actually flatter on this one. The construction of the shoe just looks overall better. And from looking at the stitching, so here's one thing that I always can tell, always on a real Yeezy. This stitching right here that goes around here, this looks different than a stitching on an unauthorized shoe. It's not the same. The stitching is completely different. I mean, it's close, but it's still not exactly the same. The stitching on a real shoe is better than the one on here. Now, overall, it's hard to tell. I think the color is actually a little bit different on both of these two. I think that the one from Goat is slightly different. Actually, the way that the stitching and stuff on it is a lot better on the one from Goat. So either they're, nah, you know what, I can tell just by see this heel tab. If you look at that heel tab, how it's set up, how this one's set up pretty much perfect. This one is definitely an authentic, which is weird because I wonder why the tabs, you're supposed to be able to see that chip inside the thing. I don't know, I can't see shit. I don't know. And then we have the semi-frozen without the gum bottoms, which I thought at first I kind of liked better than the gum bottoms. Now I kind of like the gum bottoms better. Had the fucked up stitching on the back, which was the red. Which, again, you know, like, they put out the fucking fakes, unauthorized or whatever, and then when the real shoe drops, they start making new upgraded versions of it. And you'll see, like, 10th version, 11th version, 9th version, or whatever. That means they keep fucking, you know, nailing it over and over again, upgrading the shoe till it looks exactly like the authentic. Now, the kicker is, this one came out without the gum soles. All the knockoffs didn't have the gum soles. So they were like, fuck, we'll just switch to gum sole. And then they figured out the heel tab was fucked up. It had to have that pink, like orange pink color. So now apparently the new knockoff fakes have that fucking heel tab too, the right heel tab. So now basically there's no fucking way to tell. They knocked these shoes off perfect. Somehow the coloring and stuff is perfect. They did it perfect almost from the get-go. Now when they came out with the zebras didn't have that yellow in the back. So it was just like a solid white thing. Like within like 2 weeks of the zebras dropping, they had the yellow on there too for the bottom of the sole. So they're really good at getting fakes out. Now, I can tell that the boost is different on these than the other ones. They definitely feel different. Like the boost feels actually a lot different. And it's got, you know, of course, those little circles and stuff. Now, here's something interesting. You can't probably see it on the camera, but here and the one here, the circles, or the nipples they call them on the bottom, the fakes are almost too perfect lined up. The ones that come on real shoes are kind of spaced out a little fucked up. Like they just don't look right, and that's what makes them real. So overall, yeah, I mean, it's not that much different than the knockoffs. I'm gonna put it on foot and see what it feels like. But all in all, the amount of money that you're gonna pay for one of these, opposed to the knockoffs, most likely people would never fucking be able to tell on your foot. Not that I'm suggesting that you should run around and fucking front and tell people that you have real ones if you don't, but very few people I've ever known have fucking stopped someone in the street and said, "Hey man, are your shoes real?" Or had like the UV light to do the UV test or anything like that. So all in all, I think it's a good shoe. It's my favorite shoe. And I think that the replicas are pretty good if you don't want to spend the money on them. But just do yourself a favor and don't go running around telling people that you have real ones if you don't, because that just that's shitty, and usually eventually that shit catches up to you. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I haven't seen anybody really kind of put these side by side and compare these. So yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'm JKicksv2 and I approve this message, and we're out. Quick little update here. Now, after I did the video, I started wondering why the hang tag wasn't on the sneakers. And if GOAT verifies them, then they should be real, right? So I also noticed on the box, from the ones that came with GOAT, it has this little barcode over here, which most of the stuff from Yeezy Supply does. But here, it doesn't have the little EPC chip. It doesn't have the chip on the thing, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, even the fakes have the chip on it now. Why the fuck does this thing not have it? And I did some research. It's a European label. After doing the research, I found that the ones in Europe that are legit don't have the chip in them. So I'm not sure why the ones in America do, the ones in Europe don't. They don't have the extra hang tag on them. And they don't have the label that says the EPC or the EPM or whatever the hell it is on the outside that says the chip. They don't have it. And nobody's really talking about it right now. And I think that the reason why is a lot of people didn't try to cop these. A lot of people are not buying them. They thought initially resale was going to be a lot higher than it is. So I'm seeing them right now for between $700 to $900. They were selling pre-release for anywhere from $2,000, well, they were lower than that. I've seen them anywhere from about $1,200 at the lowest, $900 at the lowest, up to $4,000 I was seeing people sell them for that had gotten them, you know, I don't know, out the back door. I don't know how they got them, whatever. But the bottom line was a lot of people just didn't even try because they were like, well, there's limited supply. I can't afford them anyways. I can't pay resale. So they're not really paying attention to them, and they're not out there talking about the fakes versus the real or Europe versus America or any of that stuff like that. And just like the zebras, when they came out, they were a really high price until the re-release of them. But also the European ones on the zebra, the bottom of the sole and the back where that piece connects was a lot darker yellow than the ones that were in America. Even the triple creams, when they came out in America, it was light kind of like, it was a dark cream color. It was darker in the ones that were in Europe. So be aware, guys, there are differences in them in the European to American ones. And like I said, I'm the first one that I know that's talking about this. I don't know why. If I hadn't gotten this box, I never would have looked into it. And I never would have noticed the ones that were in Europe. Like right now, you can literally Google them and find them legit selling from Europe right now for, I think it's 1,000 Great British pounds. And it's the same box without that hang tag. So I don't know what the difference is or why there's like that. And I'm not sure if they're made in a different factory other than the Ape factory. Like the Ape factory sends it to America, and you know, for some reason the European ones get them from a different factory. I don't know what the fuck is up. And I also know that even the fake boxes have that chip on it. And Jkickz, excuse me. They sell a replica version or more of an unauthorized version where they get the actual materials from the Ape factory. And they literally are the same exact shoes. They even have the chip on the outside of the box as well as the hang tag with the chip inside the hang tag. So if they're counterfeiting those so good, why would GOAT push one through that didn't have that stuff in it? And this is why GOAT knew something that I didn't, and basically that is the European ones don't have the chip in it, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to authenticate those other than the way that the shoes actually put together as well as the stitching on it. So yeah, that's the update. So I'm JKicksv2. I appreciate this, and we're out.